The massive alien ship hung in space above Earth's moon like a dark mountain. It was 10 times larger than anything humanity had ever built. Inside, Captain Taman Park stood in his military uniform, trying not to show his fear. Around him, 12 alien creatures sat in a circle. They were the Galactic Council, the rulers of the galaxy. Taman had been a soldier his whole life. He fought in the Mars colony wars. He saw friends die in the cold darkness of space, but nothing prepared him for this moment. Next to him stood Ambassador Hana Kim, Earth's smartest diplomat. She kept her face calm, but Taman could see her hands shaking slightly. The creature in the center spoke. Its name was Velcros. It looked like a giant lizard standing on 2 legs covered in dark red scales. Its voice was deep and cold. Humans, you are new to space travel. You are young and foolish. The Council has ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. We bring order. We bring peace. But peace has rules. Velcros moved closer. Its yellow eyes stared down at Taman and Hana. Your species will follow our rules. First, you will give us all your warships. Second, you will let us control where you can live in space. Third, you will give us 40% of everything Earth makes. Food, metal, energy. Everything. Taman felt anger burn in his chest. He wanted to speak, but Hana touched his arm gently. She stepped forward. And if we refuse? Hana asked. Her voice was steady. Velcro showed its teeth. It was not a smile. Then we will destroy your world. We will turn Earth into dust. We have done this before. 47 species learned to obey us. You will be the 48th. The other council members made sounds. Some were laughing. They thought this was easy. They thought humans would be like all the others. Hana bowed her head slightly. We need time to speak with our leaders. This is a big decision. Velcros waved one clawed hand. You have 48 hours. Return here with your answer. Choose wisely, humans. Taman and Hana returned to their ship. As they flew back to Earth, Taman looked at the Council's fleet through the window. Over 200 alien ships surrounded the moon. Each one had powerful weapons. It looked impossible to fight them, but Taman noticed something strange. He pulled up data on his computer. The alien ships used fusion engines. Humanity stopped using fusion engines 20 years ago. They had something better. The alien weapons were based on plasma and lasers. Humans had moved past that too. Hana, Taman said quietly, I think they're not as advanced as they want us to believe. Hana looked at the data. Her eyes went wide. Are you sure? Look at their power signatures. Look at their weapon systems. They're old, really old. Taman pulled up more information. I think they haven't fought a real war in a very long time. When they reached Earth, they went straight to the United Defense Command. It was a huge underground base in South Korea. Inside, military leaders from every nation waited. At the head of the table sat Admiral Yoona Choi. She was 50 years old with gray hair and sharp eyes. Everyone respected her. She had commanded the defense of Mars colony and won against impossible odds. Tell us everything, Yoona said. Hana and Taman explained what happened. When they finished, Yoona pressed a button. A hologram appeared showing the Council's ships. We've been watching them for 6 months, Yoona said, since they first entered our solar system. We've been scanning their technology. Captain Park is correct. Their technology is old, very old. A man in a white coat stood up. He was Dr. Hunwoo Song, head of Earth's weapons research. The Council stopped innovating thousands of years ago. They don't need to improve. Everyone they meet is afraid of them. But we've been fighting each other for our entire history. We know how to make war. Yoona brought up more images. Hidden across the solar system, we have built secret weapons. Railgun platforms on Mars. Quantum torpedoes that can pass through their shields. Stealth ships they cannot detect. And new warships with technology they've never seen. The room was silent. Everyone understood what this meant. If we fight, Hana said slowly, many will die. If we kneel, Taman said, humanity loses its freedom forever. We become slaves, Yoona stood up. She looked at each person in the room. I have a question for everyone here. Do we bow to bullies, or do we stand and fight? A general from Russia spoke first. We stand, then a commander from Japan. We fight. One by one, every person in the room said the same thing. Humanity would not kneel, Yoona nodded. Then we have 48 hours to prepare. We're going to do something the Council never expects. We're going to hit them first, and we're going to hit them hard. The room exploded with activity. Yoona gave orders quickly. Wake up every ship. Activate the Mars defense grid. Get the stealth fleet into position. And someone get me Colonel Hyun Lee. We need his special forces to take out their observation posts. Taemin felt his heart beating fast. This was really happening. Humanity was going to war with an empire that ruled the galaxy. Hana looked worried. What if we lose? Yuna smiled, but it was a hard smile. Then we lose fighting. Better to die free than live on our knees. Besides, I don't plan to lose. Over the next 2 days, Earth transformed. Secret weapons came online. Hidden ships moved into position. Soldiers said goodbye to their families. Everyone knew what was coming. On Mars, Commander Min Ho-seo prepared the defense platforms. They had been disguised as mining equipment for months. Now they revealed their true purpose. Massive railguns capable of throwing metal slugs at incredible speeds. In orbit around Earth, Lieutenant Sora Han climbed into her fighter. It was called a Ghost class. It was small, fast, and completely invisible to most sensors. She was 25 years old and the best pilot in the fleet. Chief Engineer Doyeon Nam worked without sleep on the indomitable Captain Taemin's ship. He upgraded every system, making the ship ready for battle. When the 48 hours ended, Hana returned to the Council ship. This time she had 7 ships with her as an honor guard. The Council thought this meant humanity was surrendering. Velcros greeted her with that same terrible smile. You have made the wise choice, yes? Hana stood straight and tall. She thought about her children at home. She thought about every human who ever lived free. She spoke clearly so everyone could hear. The people of Earth have considered your demands. We have one answer for you and your council. She paused. Humanity chooses to stand. Velcross's smile disappeared. Then you choose death. No, Hana said. We choose freedom. At that moment, the 7 human ships opened fire. But they were not alone. Across the solar system, 40 more ships appeared from nowhere. The Mars defense grid activated. Hidden weapons platforms revealed themselves. Velcross's eyes went wide with shock. He opened his mouth to give orders. He never got the chance. A quantum torpedo passed through his ship's shields like they were not there. It hit the bridge. The explosion tore through the command center. The Battle of Luna had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The space around Earth's moon exploded with light and fire. Human ships moved fast, striking from every direction. The Council fleet tried to respond, but they were confused. This was not supposed to happen. Species did not fight back. They surrendered. Captain Taemin stood on the bridge of the Indomitable. Around him, his crew worked quickly. Screens showed the battle in real time. Numbers scrolled past. Enemy ships, friendly ships. Weapons firing. Shields failing. Target the big one, Taemin ordered. He pointed at the Eternal Judgment, Velcross's flagship. It was damaged but still dangerous. Hit it with everything we have. Chief Engineer Doyeon's voice came through the speaker. Captain, if we fire all weapons at once, we might overload our power system. Do it anyway, Taemin said calmly. The Indomitable shook as every weapon fired together. Railgun slugs flew at 3% of light speed. They hit the Eternal Judgment like hammers. Quantum torpedoes phased through the alien shields and exploded inside the ship. Laser batteries carved lines of fire across the hull. The massive alien ship tried to turn. It was too slow. A railgun slug punched through its main reactor. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the entire back half of the ship exploded in a ball of blue fire. Target destroyed, someone reported. Taemin did not celebrate. There were still many enemy ships. Next target. Keep moving. Don't let them lock onto us. Across the battlefield, human tactics surprised the aliens again and again. The Council was used to formal fleet battles. Ships in neat lines, honorable combat. Humans did not fight that way. Lieutenant Sora Han flew her ghost fighter through the chaos. 2 alien fighters chased her. They were bigger and had more weapons. But she was faster and smarter. She dove toward a damaged Council cruiser, flying so close to its hull that she could see the alien writing on its side. The 2 enemy fighters followed. At the last second, Sora pulled up hard. The alien fighters could not turn fast enough. They crashed into the cruiser. 3 explosions lit up the darkness. 3 more down, Sora said into her radio. Her voice was calm, but her hands shook on the controls. She had never killed anyone before today. Now she had destroyed 11 alien ships. Good work, Ghost Leader, a voice replied. It was Commander Jin-Woo Park, leading the other fighters. Form up on me. We have bombers that need escort. The human bombers were slow but carried powerful weapons. They needed the fighters to protect them. Sora and her squadron moved into position. Together, they attacked a council carrier that was launching more alien fighters. On Mars, Commander Minho Seo watched the battle through cameras. The Mars defense grid was working perfectly. Giant railguns fired metal slugs at alien ships trying to reach Earth. Each slug was the size of a car and moved at incredible speed. When they hit, alien ships broke apart. Sector 7 needs support, a voice reported. 3 enemy cruisers are pushing through. Minho checked his screens. He had 20 railgun platforms. 15 were firing at different targets. 5 were reloading. He made a quick decision. Platforms 12 through 16, focus fire on Sector 7. I don't want those ships getting past us. The 5 platforms turned. They calculated trajectories in milliseconds. Then they fired together. 5 slugs flew through space. 3 of them hit the lead cruiser at the same time. The ship simply came apart, broken into pieces by the impact. Back near the moon, the battle continued. Human ships used tactics the Council had never seen. They shared targeting data instantly. When one ship damaged an enemy's shields, another ship would fire at that exact spot. They moved in small groups, supporting each other, never staying still. The Council ships tried to fight back. They had powerful weapons, but their commanders did not know how to handle this kind of battle. They gave orders, but human ships were already somewhere else. They tried to form defensive formations, but human torpedoes passed through their shields. Specialist Mira Shin sat in a small room on the Indomitable. In front of her were dozens of computer screens. She was not a soldier. She was a hacker. Her job was to break into enemy computer systems. I'm in their command network, she said quietly. Her fingers moved across the keyboard incredibly fast. They're using old security protocols. This is almost too easy. What can you do? Admiral Yuna's voice asked through the speaker. I can see everything. Their fleet positions, their orders, their weapon status. Mira smiled. And I can change things. Do it, Yuna ordered. Mira's fingers flew. She sent false orders to 3 council ships, telling them to fire on their own fleet. She shut down the shields on 2 enemy cruisers. She made 5 ships think they were out of fuel when they were not. Chaos spread through the council fleet. Ships received conflicting orders. Some stopped moving, confused. Others fired at the wrong targets. Their careful organization fell apart. Admiral Yuna watched from Earth's command center. Holographic displays showed the entire battle. She could see every ship, human and alien. The numbers were in her head. Humans had 47 ships. The Council started with 214. After 2 hours of fighting, the Council had 150 ships left. Humanity had lost 9 ships. They're trying to retreat, an officer reported. Yuna considered. She could let them go. Or she could finish this. All ships pursue. Don't let them reform. Hit them while they're scattered. Human ships chased the fleeing Council vessels. More alien ships exploded or surrendered. Some were captured by boarding teams. Humans in combat armor moved through alien corridors, securing ships. By the 4th hour, it was over. The Council fleet was destroyed. 62 ships were gone completely. 98 were damaged and captured. Only 54 escaped, running away as fast as they could. Taman stood on the bridge of the Indomitable. His ship was damaged. 3 of his crew were dead. 12 were injured. But they won. Against impossible odds, they won. Get me a channel to all human ships, he said. When the channel opened, Taman spoke. This is Captain Park. Today we faced an empire that ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. They came here to make us kneel, to take our freedom, to turn us into slaves. He paused. We showed them that humanity does not kneel. We stand, we fight, and we win. Cheers erupted across every human ship. People cried with relief and joy. They hugged each other. Some prayed. Some just sat down, exhausted. But Admiral Yuna did not celebrate. She looked at the data streaming in from across the galaxy. The Council's main fleets were mobilizing. Thousands of ships, maybe 5,000, maybe more. She called an emergency meeting of Earth's leaders. When everyone was connected, she spoke plainly. We won today's battle, but the war is just beginning. The Council will come back with their full strength. We hurt their pride. They will want revenge. How long do we have? Someone asked. Maybe 3 months, maybe less. A long silence followed. What do we do? Another voice asked. Yuna looked at the camera. Her expression was hard. We prepare. We build more ships. We train more soldiers. We create more weapons. And we make the council pay for every meter of space they take from us. Can we win? Hana asked quietly. Yuna thought about that. She thought about the odds. She thought about what was coming. I don't know, she admitted. But we're going to try. Because the alternative is slavery or death. And I'd rather die fighting than live on my knees. Across Earth, the celebration was brief. People watched the news. They saw the videos of the battle. They heard that humanity won. But they also heard that more aliens were coming. Many more. Families held each other. Soldiers reported for duty. Factories started working 24 hours a day, building weapons and ships. Scientists worked on new technology. Everyone did something to help. Lieutenant Sora landed her fighter and climbed out. She was tired. Her hands still shook. A reporter with a camera ran up to her. Lieutenant Han, you destroyed 11 enemy ships today. How do you feel? Sora looked at the camera. She thought about the alien pilots she killed. They were just following orders like her, but they came to conquer Earth, to take freedom from her family and friends. I feel like we did what we had to do, she said simply, and I'll do it again when they come back. That night, Earth's lights could be seen from space, not because of celebration, because of work, because humanity was preparing for the storm that was coming. In deep space, the surviving council ships raced away. On one of those ships, a council commander sent a message back to the council homeworlds. The message was short: humanity fights. Send everything. 3 months passed. 3 months of preparation. 3 months of fear and hope. Earth changed during those months. Every nation worked together like never before. Money did not matter anymore. Politics did not matter. Only survival mattered. Factories built ships day and night. Each new ship was better than the last. Engineers learned from the first battle. They made armor stronger. They made weapons more powerful. They made engines faster. Admiral Yuna barely slept. She spent her days planning. Every scenario. Every possibility. She knew the council would come with overwhelming force. Humanity could not win a straight fight. So she would not fight straight. We make them pay for every kilometer, she told her commanders. We hit them in the outer solar system. We slow them down. We hurt them. We make them scared. New weapons were placed throughout the solar system. In the Kuiper Belt, far beyond Pluto, automated platforms waited silently. Each one had railguns and missiles. Each one was controlled by advanced computers. They would fight even if every human died. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter became a fortress. Thousands of rocks were hollowed out and filled with weapons. Some were real. Some were fake. The enemy would not know which was which until too late. Mars itself was covered with defenses. Commander Minhoseo worked without rest. He placed railgun platforms everywhere. He dug tunnels underground where soldiers could hide. He built bunkers that could survive orbital bombardment. They'll come for Mars, he told his people. This is the last stop before Earth. We have to hold them here as long as possible. On Earth, giant battle stations were built. The biggest was Fort Terra, hanging in orbit like a metal moon. It had more weapons than 10 warships. It had shields that could take massive damage. And it had food and air for 10,000 people to live for a year. Lieutenant Sora trained new pilots, young men and women who volunteered to fly ghost fighters. She taught them everything she knew: how to move fast, how to think faster, how to stay alive. You're going to be scared, she told them honestly. I'm still scared every time I fly. But we have something they don't have. We're fighting for our home, for our families. That makes us dangerous. Then the council arrived. The first warning came from sensors at the edge of the solar system. Ships were coming. Many ships. The computers counted them. 1,000. 2,000. 3,000. The numbers kept rising. 5,000 ships appeared from faster-than-light travel. Admiral Yuna looked at the display. 5,000 ships, maybe more behind them, against humanity's 300 warships. Execute Plan Gauntlet, she ordered calmly. The Kuiper curtain activated. Hundreds of weapon platforms that had been waiting in the cold darkness suddenly came to life. The Council fleet was not expecting this. They thought the battle would be near Earth. They were wrong. Railgun slugs flew from the platforms. Missiles launched in waves. The Council ships were prepared this time. Their shields held, but they had to slow down. They had to fight the platforms. That was exactly what Yuna wanted. Time. Every hour the Council spent fighting in the outer solar system gave Earth more time to prepare. The battle raged for a week. The Council destroyed the platforms one by one, but each platform took hours to kill, and while they fought the platforms, other things happened. Captain Juhuno commanded a ship called Silent Arrow. It was a stealth ship, completely invisible to most sensors. He and 5 other stealth ships hunted Council supply vessels. The big fleet needed food, fuel, and ammunition. Jihun made sure they did not get it. Target is a supply convoy, his sensor officer reported. 3 cargo ships with 2 escorts. Good, Jihun said. We take the escorts first. Fast and quiet, the Silent Arrow moved closer. When it was in position, it fired. Quantum torpedoes passed through the escort's shields and exploded inside. Both ships were destroyed before they could even send a warning. The cargo ships tried to run. They were too slow. Jihun's ship destroyed all 3. That's the 5th convoy this week, someone said. Good, Jihun replied. The more hungry and low on fuel they are, the easier they are to kill. The Council fleet pushed forward. They reached Neptune, then Uranus. Each step took time and cost ships. The asteroid belt was worse. The Council ships entered the belt and found themselves surrounded by weapons, real platforms mixed with fake ones. They had to check each rock carefully. Commander Jinwoo Park led bomber squadrons in hit-and-run attacks. They would appear from behind an asteroid, launch all weapons, then disappear before the enemy could respond. It was not glorious. It was not honorable. But it worked. After 6 weeks, the Council fleet reached Mars. They had lost 400 ships fighting through the solar system. They were tired. They were angry. And they wanted revenge. Commander Minho stood in his command center deep under Mars's surface. Around him, his people waited. Everyone knew what was coming. They'll bombard us from orbit first, Minho said. Our job is to survive the bombardment. Then when they try to land troops, we kill them. The bombardment began. Council ships fired from orbit. Explosions covered the surface of Mars. Dust rose into the thin atmosphere. It looked like the entire planet was on fire. But under the surface, humans waited in bunkers. The bombardment lasted 3 days. When it stopped, the Council ships thought Mars was defeated. They were wrong. Landing ships descended. Thousands of alien soldiers prepared to take control of Mars. The landing ships touched down on the red dirt. Ramps opened. Aliens marched out. Hidden railgun platforms emerged from underground. They fired at point-blank range. Landing ships exploded. Alien soldiers died before they understood what was happening. More landing ships came. The battle turned into brutal fighting. Humans and aliens killed each other in the dust and rocks of Mars. Commander Minho led from the front. He carried a rifle and fought alongside his soldiers. For 3 days, Mars held. The Council threw more and more troops at the planet. Humans fought from bunkers and tunnels. Every meter of ground cost the Council hundreds of lives, but numbers mattered. The Council had millions of soldiers. Mars had only thousands. Slowly, the human defenses fell back. Positions were abandoned. Soldiers died. On the 4th day, Commander Minho knew it was over. Most of his people were dead or wounded. The orbital platforms were destroyed. The Council would take Mars. He gathered his remaining soldiers. Maybe 300 people. They stood in the main command bunker. We can't hold them anymore, Minho said. His voice was tired but calm. I'm giving you all a choice. You can surrender. The Council might let you live as prisoners, or you can come with me for one last mission. Everyone chose to stay. Minho smiled sadly. I thought so. Here's what we're going to do. He explained his plan. When he finished, some people cried. Some laughed. All of them agreed. The Council forces approached the main command bunker. They thought the humans would surrender now. The bunker doors opened. Commander Minho walked out alone carrying a white flag. A Council commander approached. It was a tall alien with 4 arms. You surrender? No, Minho said. I just wanted you closer. He pressed a button on a device in his hand. Every fusion reactor on Mars overloaded at the same time. The explosions were massive. The entire base vanished in fire and light. 12 Council ships in low orbit were caught in the blast. Commander Minho and all his people died instantly, but they took thousands of enemies with them. On Earth, Admiral Yuna watched the explosion through satellites. She closed her eyes for a moment. Then she opened them. Minho bought us time, she said. Now we use it. The Council fleet will reach Earth in 1 week. Activate all defenses. Recall all ships. This is where we make our stand. The Council fleet approached Earth, battered and angry. They had lost 800 ships fighting through the solar system. They had lost hundreds of thousands of soldiers taking Mars. They wanted to end this. Earth waited. Fort Terra hung in orbit, bristling with weapons. Warships formed defensive lines. On the ground, armies prepared for invasion. Lieutenant Sora sat in her fighter, ready to launch. She thought about Commander Minho and all the people who died on Mars. She thought about her family on Earth hiding in bunkers. "This is Ghost Leader to all squadrons," she said into her radio. "They're coming for our home, for our families, for everything we love. We make them pay for every meter. We make them wish they never came here, and we show them that humanity does not surrender. Copy that, Ghost Leader." Dozens of voices responded. The Council fleet entered Earth's orbit. Admiral Yuna took a deep breath. "All ships," she said. "All stations. All defenses, fire." The Battle of Earth began, and the space around humanity's homeworld turned into hell. The space around Earth exploded with weapons fire. Thousands of missiles flew through the darkness. Laser beams cut across the black. Railgun slugs moved too fast to see. Ships exploded on both sides. Fort Terra was the center of Earth's defense. Every weapon on the station fired without stopping. Council ships tried to approach, and the station's guns tore them apart. But there were so many enemy ships. For every one destroyed, 2 more took its place. Lieutenant Sora flew her ghost fighter through the chaos. Her squadron had started with 12 pilots. Now only 7 remained. She pushed her fighter hard, dodging enemy fire, striking fast, then running away. "Ghost 3 is hit," someone screamed over the radio. Sora saw the fighter explode. Another friend dead. She felt tears on her face but did not stop flying. She could cry later. "If there was a later, all ghosts form on me," she ordered. "We hit that carrier, then break away." The 6 remaining fighters dove toward a Council carrier. It was launching enemy fighters like angry bees from a hive. Sora's squadron fired all their missiles at once. 36 missiles hit the carrier's launch bays. Secondary explosions rippled across the ship. It began to list burning. On the ground, General Unji Bai commanded Earth's armies. She stood in a command center in South Korea, watching displays. The Council was trying to land troops in Africa and South America. Human forces were fighting them at every landing zone. "How are we holding?" she asked. "They're taking heavy losses," an officer reported. "But they keep coming. We're running out of ammunition in Sector 7. Redirect supplies from Sector 3, Yunji ordered. "And tell our pilots to focus on their landing ships. No troops on the ground means no invasion." But even as she gave orders, she knew the truth. The Council had more ships, more troops, more everything. Earth was bleeding them, but they could take the losses. Humanity could not. Admiral Yuna made a hard decision. She called Captain Taman to her office. His ship, the Indomitable, was damaged but still flying. "Taman, I need you to do something," she said. "Something dangerous." "Tell me," Taman replied. "Take 30 ships. Our fastest ones. Leave Earth and head into Council space. Hit their colonies, their supply bases, everything that keeps their fleet running." She paused. "I'm sending the fleet away when we need it most. But if you can force the Council to pull ships back to defend their homes, it might save Earth." Taman understood. It was a gamble. "When do we leave?" "Now, before they can surround us completely." Taman gathered his ships. The Indomitable led a group of fast warships and stealth vessels. They broke through the Council lines, taking damage but making it to open space. Then they jumped to faster-than-light speed, heading deep into Council territory. Behind them, Earth continued to fight. Day after day, week after week, the Council could not break Fort Terra. They tried direct assaults. The station's guns destroyed them. They tried to surround it. Human ships hit them from unexpected angles. They tried to starve it out. Supply ships kept getting through. Lieutenant Sora became famous. Soldiers called her the Ghost of Earth. She flew when she should have been too tired to move. She fought when she should have been dead. By the end of the 2nd month, she had destroyed 62 enemy ships, but she was exhausted. Her hands shook even when she was not flying. She barely ate. She barely slept. She just fought. Far away, Captain Taman reached Council space. His fleet appeared near a Council colony world called Veranex. It was a peaceful planet. No military bases. Just civilians and trade stations. "Captain, what are our orders?" someone asked. Taman looked at the planet. Billions of aliens lived there. Families, children. They were not soldiers. "We target the military stations only," he said firmly. destroy their defense satellites, destroy their orbital weapons, but no civilian targets. We're not like them. The fleet attacked the military infrastructure. The Council defenders were weak and surprised. Within hours, Vernex's defenses were gone. The planet was defenseless. Taman sent a message to the Council. This planet is now under human protection. We could destroy it, but we won't. We're not monsters. But every day you attack Earth, we will take another of your worlds. Choose carefully. The message spread across the galaxy. Humans had struck back. Humans were in Council space. Panic began to spread among Council worlds. With Taman was Commander Jia Yun. She was not a soldier. She was a diplomat. While Taman fought, Jia had a different mission. She searched for allies. There are species that hate the Council, she told Taman. Species that were conquered. If we can find them, maybe they'll fight with us. They found the Velkari. The Velkari were a proud species that rebelled against the Council 300 years ago. They lost. Their military was destroyed. Their leaders were executed. But they never forgot. Jia met with a Velkari leader named Thronik. He was old and scarred. Why should we trust humans? Thronik asked. You are fighting for your own survival. Yes, Jia admitted. But we're also showing that the Council can be beaten. They're not invincible. Help us. And when we win, you'll be free too. Thronik was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke. What do you need? Soldiers, ships, anything you can give. The Council killed many of us, Thronik said. But enough survived. Enough who remember freedom. We will fight. The Velkari joined the war. Their ships were old. Their weapons were outdated. But they fought with rage built up over centuries. Together with Taman's fleet, they struck at Council targets across a dozen star systems. The Council was forced to make a choice. Keep all their ships attacking Earth? Or pull some back to defend their own territory? They chose to pull ships back. 500 warships left Earth's orbit and returned to Council space. Admiral Yuna saw the enemy fleet shrink. She did not know how Taman did it, but he gave Earth a chance. All forces push forward, she ordered. They're weaker now. We take advantage. The battle intensified. Human ships fought harder. Fort Terra's guns never stopped firing. On the ground, General Yunji's armies pushed back Council landing forces. In her Ghost Fighter, Sora led another attack. Her squadron was down to 4 pilots now. They dove toward a Council battleship, firing everything they had. A Council interceptor appeared from nowhere. It fired. Sora tried to dodge, but she was too slow. The hit destroyed her fighter's left wing. I'm hit, she reported. Losing control. Her fighter spun toward a Council cruiser. She could not pull up. She was going to crash. In that moment, Sora made a decision. If she was going to die, she would take enemies with her. She pointed her dying fighter directly at the cruiser's bridge and pushed the throttle to maximum. Ghost Leader, eject, someone screamed over the radio. Negative, Sora said calmly. This is for Commander Minho, for Mars, for Earth. Her fighter hit the cruiser at full speed. The explosion destroyed the entire front section of the enemy ship. Both Sora and hundreds of alien crew died instantly. The remaining human pilots screamed in rage and grief. They attacked like wild animals, destroying 3 more Council ships before breaking away. Admiral Yuna heard about Sora's death. She felt the loss like a knife in her chest. But she could not stop, could not mourn. Not yet. The battle had been going for 3 months now. Both sides were exhausted. The Council had lost almost half their fleet. Earth had lost 2/3 of its ships. Fort Terra was damaged but still standing. Then something unexpected happened. A message arrived from Council space. It was not from Taman. It was from the Velkari and 2 other species. We are in rebellion against the Council. Humanity has shown us that freedom is possible. We fight for ourselves now. 3 species, millions of soldiers, hundreds of worlds rose against the Council. The Council's empire began to crack. The Council commander at Earth received urgent messages. Return immediately. The empire is falling apart. We need ships at home. The commander looked at Earth. So close to victory. But orders were orders. The Council fleet began to withdraw. Not all of them. But enough. Admiral Yuna could not believe it. They're retreating? Some of them, an officer confirmed. Maybe 1,000 ships are leaving. But 2,000 remain. It was still overwhelming odds. But it was better than before. Keep fighting, Yuna ordered. We've come too far to give up now. In Council space, Captain Taman heard about the rebellions. He also heard about Lieutenant Sora's death. He stood alone in his quarters and finally let himself feel. He cried for Sora, for Minho, for all the dead. Then he dried his tears and returned to duty. Send a message to the rebel species, he told Commander Gia. Tell them to attack the Council homeworld. The time has come to end this. Gia looked shocked. The Council homeworld is the most defended place in the galaxy. I know, Taman said. That's why we need everyone. Every ship. Every soldier. We end this war at Primaris, the message went out. Across the galaxy, ships began to move. Human ships. Velkari ships. Ships from a dozen species, all heading to one place. The Council's capital world. The final battle was coming. The planet Primaris hung in space like a blue jewel. For 10,000 years it had been the heart of the Council's power. From here they ruled the galaxy. Now a fleet gathered around it. Not to protect it. To attack it. Captain Taman stood on the bridge of the Indomitable. His ship bore the scars of 100 battles. Burns on the hull. Patched armor. But it still flew. Around him 3,000 ships waited. Human ships. Velkari ships. Ships from 12 different species who had thrown off the Council's rule. The Council had gathered their remaining forces to defend Primaris. 2,000 warships surrounded the planet. Ancient defense stations floated in orbit. Planetary shields covered the surface. It looked impossible to take. They're offering to negotiate, Commander Gia reported. She listened to a transmission. They say they'll leave Earth alone if we withdraw. Taman thought about that. He thought about all the people who died. Lieutenant Sora, Commander Minho, hundreds of thousands more. He thought about what the Council did, what they would do again if given the chance. Tell them no, he said firmly. No more deals. No more threats. This ends today. At Earth, Admiral Yuna received the same message. The Council at Earth also wanted to negotiate. They would leave. They would surrender. If humanity stopped the attack on Primaris, Yuna called a meeting with Earth's leaders. Premier Taeyang Cho spoke for the civilians. We've lost so many, Taeyang said. If they'll leave Earth alone, maybe we should accept. And what happens in 50 years? Yuna asked. Or 100? They'll rebuild. They'll come back, and next time, they'll be ready for us. She looked at everyone in the meeting. The only way to end this is to break their power completely. Now. After a long discussion, Earth agreed. The attack would continue. The fleets at Primaris prepared to fight. Taman organized the forces. Human ships would lead the assault. The Velkari would attack from the left. Other species would attack from the right. Everyone had a role. Remember, Taman said over the communication channel, we're not here to conquer. We're here to free. When we win, Primaris will govern itself. Every species will be free to choose their own path. The battle began. 3,000 ships moved forward against 2,000 defenders. It was not overwhelming odds. It would be close. The Council defense stations fired first. Massive energy beams cut across space. 3 human ships exploded immediately. The fleet did not slow down. Return fire, Taman ordered. Target those stations. Hundreds of ships fired at once. Railgun slugs, missiles, torpedoes, energy weapons. The defense stations had strong shields. But even strong shields could break. One by one, the stations exploded or went dark. The Council fleet moved to intercept. Ship fought ship in the space around Primaris. Laser fire lit up the darkness. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers. Ships on both sides died. Chief Engineer Doyen worked frantically on the Indomitable. The ship took hit after hit. Each time he and his team patched the damage. Captain, the main reactor's overheating, Doyen reported. We need to shut down some systems. Shut down life support to the lower decks, Taman ordered. Move everyone to the upper decks. Keep weapons and engines online. It was a hard choice, but there was no other option. The Velkari ships fought with desperate courage. They had waited 300 years for this moment. Their ships were old. Many were destroyed, but they kept fighting. Thronik, the Velkari leader, commanded from his flagship. For our ancestors. For freedom! His ship rammed a Council battleship. Both ships exploded. But the gap in the Council line allowed 20 human ships to push through. Hours passed. The battle raged. Both sides lost hundreds of ships. The space around Primaris was filled with wreckage and bodies. On Earth, Admiral Yuna watched the battle through data feeds. She could see the numbers. The Alliance was losing more ships than the Council. They would run out first. At Primaris, Taman saw the same thing. He made a decision. All ships focus fire on the planetary shield generators, he ordered. We end this by taking the fight to the surface. It was risky. The shield generators were heavily protected. But if they could destroy them, they could threaten the planet itself. Force the Council to surrender. The Indomitable led the assault. Taemon's ship dove toward the planet, taking fire from every direction. Other ships followed. Together they fired everything at the shield generators. The shields flickered, weakened, then failed in several sections. Breakthrough, someone shouted. Taemon did not hesitate. Landing forces, go now. Dropships launched from human carriers. They carried soldiers. Human soldiers. Velkari soldiers. They dove through the gaps in the shields and headed for the surface. The Council sent their own troops to stop them. The battle moved from space to the ground. In the capital city of Primaris, soldiers fought in the streets. Bullets and energy beams flew between buildings that had stood for thousands of years. General Yunji commanded the ground forces through communication systems. Secure the government district. We need to capture the Council leadership. Human soldiers trained in urban combat through centuries of Earth's wars moved efficiently through the city. They cleared buildings. They set up defensive positions. They pushed forward. The Council soldiers fought hard, but they were not prepared for this kind of battle. The Council had not fought ground wars in millennia. Humans fought them all the time. In space, the battle turned. With the planetary shields down, the Council fleet had to pull back to protect the surface. That gave the Alliance forces an opening. They pushed harder. Dr. Narration had been working on a secret weapon. It was called a dimensional shearing cannon. It could tear apart space itself. Only one prototype existed, mounted on a special ship. We're in range, the ship's captain reported to Taemon. Permission to fire? Taemon thought about it. This weapon was terrifying. It could kill thousands. But so could this war continuing. Fire, he ordered. The dimensional shearing cannon activated. A beam of twisted space shot out and hit a Council super dreadnought. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ship simply came apart. Not an explosion. The ship's atoms separated. It ceased to exist. The Council fleet saw this and panicked. What kind of weapon was that? Could the humans use it again? They're breaking, Commander Gia shouted. The Council fleet is retreating. It was true. Council ships were running, not in organized retreat, in panic. They scattered in every direction. On the ground, Council soldiers saw their ships leaving. Without air support, they could not win. Many surrendered. Others kept fighting out of desperation or loyalty. Human soldiers reached the government district. They found the Council chambers. Inside, the remaining Council members waited. Taemon landed on the surface and walked into the chambers. The Council members looked at him with fear and hatred. They were used to being the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Now they were defeated. You cannot rule us, one Council member said. It was a blue creature with tentacles. You do not have the wisdom. The experience. We don't want to rule you, Taemon said. We want you to stop ruling everyone else. He called Commander Gia forward. She carried a document. This is the Treaty of Freedom, Gia explained. The Council is dissolved. Every species will govern themselves. There will be a new alliance, but it will be between equals. No masters, no slaves, just partners. The Council members had no choice. They signed. The war was over. News spread across the galaxy. The Council was gone. The empire that ruled for 10,000 years was finished. Everywhere people celebrated. Chains were broken. Prison doors opened. Species that had been slaves for centuries were suddenly free. On Earth, people danced in the streets. They cried with relief. They hugged strangers. The war had cost so much. 847,000 humans died. But humanity survived. And they were free. 5 years passed. Captain Taemon, now Admiral Taemon, commanded a fleet of exploration ships. Not warships, science vessels. They traveled the galaxy, meeting new species, offering friendship instead of threats. Admiral Yuna retired from the military. She taught at the new Defense Academy on Mars, rebuilt from the ruins. Young officers from a dozen species learned from her. She taught them strategy, tactics, but most importantly, she taught them when not to fight. General Yunji helped rebuild the cities damaged in the war. Human engineers worked alongside alien workers. Together, they created something new, something better. Ambassador Hana, who started it all by refusing to kneel, became the leader of the Free Systems Alliance. She worked every day to make sure the mistakes of the past were not repeated. Specialist Mira Shin used her computer skills to build communication networks. Now every species could talk to every other species instantly. Information was free. Truth was accessible. Captain Ji-hoon continued to hunt pirates and criminals. But now he worked with police from many worlds. Crime had no place to hide. Dr. Nari destroyed the dimensional shearing cannon. It was too dangerous. But she used the knowledge to create better medicine, better technology, things that helped people instead of killing them. Chief Engineer Doyen worked on civilian ships now. Transports, cargo vessels. He built engines that could cross the galaxy quickly, bringing people and goods everywhere. Commander Jia became the Alliance's chief diplomat. She helped dozens of species write constitutions and build governments. She made sure everyone had a voice.